I leaned back on the couch, watching Sophia laugh as she flicked through her phone. "You're obsessed with that thing," I teased. She shot me a smile, that smile that used to melt me entirely. "Obsessed? Me? Never." I grinned. "Come on, admit it. You check Instagram more than anyone I know." "Maybe I like seeing what everyone else is doing," she said, tossing her hair over her shoulder. "Don't act like you don't care either." "I care about you." "Only you," I said, reaching for her hand. She let me hold it, though for a moment, I felt the faintest hesitation in her fingers. I shook it off. "Paranoia," I told myself. "So, dinner on Friday?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Not sure yet," she murmured, eyes flicking to the corner of the room, toward the window. "Adrian invited me to his gallery opening. Maybe I'll go." I froze for a split second, then laughed it off. "Adrian? That guy? Come on, Sophia, it's just art." She shrugged, smiling but distant. "It could be fun. You don't get me sometimes, you know." I forced a laugh, telling myself it was nothing. "I get you more than anyone. Remember last month? When I stayed up all night helping you with that presentation?" Her eyes softened for a moment. I know. You're the best. Really." I swallowed a lump in my throat. "Then why do I feel invisible sometimes?" She hesitated, glancing at the phone again. "I'm not sure. Maybe you're imagining things." Her words should have comforted me, but instead, they triggered a gnawing worry. I pushed it aside. "I'm probably overthinking." "You're amazing, Sophia. You always will be." "Stop saying that," she whispered, smiling faintly. "Makes me feel guilty." "Guilty for what?" I asked, though the worry was tightening my chest. "Nothing." "Forget it," she said, moving closer to kiss my cheek. Her lips lingered just slightly longer than usual. I thought I imagined it. Later, as we made dinner together, I tried to keep the conversation light. "Remember when we first met?" I said, chopping onions. She laughed. "You spilled coffee on me in the library. You were so nervous you couldn't even apologize properly." "I was nervous because I liked you," I said, smiling at her reflection in the glass cabinet. "I still like you. More than anything." "You always say that," she replied, a little too softly. "I know. I believe you." I caught the slight edge in her voice but didn't comment. "You know, I was thinking," I hesitated, then went on. "Maybe we could plan a trip. Just us. Somewhere quiet." Sophia paused, glancing down at her hands. "I don't know. Work's been hectic. And Adrian mentioned a conference overseas. Might be interesting." The name hit me harder than it should have. I forced a smile. "He's nice, right? I mean, if you want to go, it's fine." She looked at me, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. "You really don't mind?" I want you to be happy," I said, voice tight. "Always." Later, sitting on the balcony with our coffees, I tried to relax. "Do you remember the first time we watched the sunset together?" I asked, staring at the orange sky. Her smile was distant. "Of course. You cried like a baby because you thought the sun was going to disappear." I chuckled, then quietly added, "I'd never let you disappear." She reached for my hand, but this time, it felt tentative, almost cautious. "I know." I shook off the cold feeling creeping in my chest. "We're perfect, Sophia. You and me. Nothing can change that." "Nothing," she said, though her eyes flicked toward the street, toward the restaurant where Adrian's car had just pulled up. I didn't notice then, lost in my devotion, thinking love alone could hold her. I wasn't supposed to find out. I told myself that 100 times as I stood frozen outside the cafe, gripping the doorframe, staring at the scene inside. Sophia, laughing like nothing mattered, leaning closer to Adrian. His hand brushed hers, deliberately, possessively, and she didn't pull away. I wanted to scream. I wanted to walk in and rip her away from him, but my legs refused. My chest was tight, and the world felt suddenly colder than I'd ever known. "Hey, you're late," Sophia said, smiling as Adrian handed her a drink. My stomach turned. "Sophia, what is this?" My voice cracked, barely above a whisper. She blinked, startled, then smiled that same infuriating, calm smile. "What do you mean?" I stepped inside, my knees weak. "Don't play games with me. Don't, not now." Adrian's grin was smug. "Relax, man. She's enjoying herself. Just a friendly coffee." I laughed bitterly. "Friendly? Really? I can see how friendly this looks." Sophia's eyes met mine, and for a moment, I thought I saw a flicker of guilt. Then it was gone. "Look, I didn't mean for you to find out like this. Didn't mean for me to find out." I repeated, my voice rising. "Sophia. Do you even hear yourself?" Adrian leaned back, crossing his arms. "Man, you're overreacting. She's an adult. You knew she was ambitious." Ambitious. That word stabbed me worse than any insult. Ambitious? Is that what this is about? You're leaving me for money? For excitement? Sophia's lips pressed into a thin line. I want more, okay? I can't settle. I need security, I need a life that you can't give me. You need a life. I laughed through tears. I gave you everything I had. My love. My time. My heart. I know, she said, almost softly. And I appreciate it. I really do. But, it's not enough. I need stability, opportunities, things you can't give. I staggered back, my mind spinning. So it's me against a rich man, and I lose. That's how it works. Sophia's mother appeared suddenly, stepping out from the corner like some shadow I hadn't noticed. "Honey, it's for the best. You're young. You'll understand one day. He can offer what he needs, what I've always wanted for you." I whirled toward her. "Mom. You're condoning this? You're proud of this?" She smiled faintly, shrugging. "I just want what's best for my daughter." "Best?" I screamed, my voice echoing. Heads turned, and I didn't care. Best? Tearing someone's heart out is best. Betrayal is best. Sophia looked away, unable to meet my eyes. Adrian smirked, clearly enjoying my humiliation. "Man, you should calm down," he said. "No need to make a scene." I clenched my fists. Make a scene? I've been invisible for months. You've been planning this while I thought we were happy. Sophia's hand brushed mine, almost tenderly, but I recoiled. "Don't touch me," I said. "Not now. Not ever, maybe." She tried to reach for me again. "Please, listen. I'm doing what I think is right for me. What about us? What about everything we planned?" I whispered, choking back tears. "Was that all a lie?" "It wasn't a lie," she said, voice steady. I needed something more. Something bigger. Something exciting." I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. "Exciting? You think leaving me for money is exciting?" Adrian chuckled. "She's right, man. Life's bigger than feelings sometimes." I felt my knees buckle. "And what about me? Don't my feelings matter? Don't I?" Sophia finally looked at me, eyes cold. They do. They mattered. But not enough. I'm sorry. I backed away, clutching my chest as though I could hold the pieces of my heart together. Sorry. That's it. Just sorry. She reached out again. I hope you'll forgive me someday. Forgive you? The word echoed, mocking me. I wanted to throw something, break everything in sight, but all I could do was stand there, trembling. Forgive you? I whispered. I don't even know if I can breathe right now. Adrian stepped closer. Look, maybe time will fix this. I laughed through tears, shaking my head. Time. Time won't fix betrayal. Time won't fix humiliation. Time won't make this right. Sophia's mother touched her arm. Honey, maybe we should go. He'll understand later. I looked at her, at all of them, and a cold fire ignited in my chest. Not just anger, something sharper. Something I hadn't known I could feel, revenge. Revenge? I whispered to myself, tasting the word. It was sweet, and terrifying, and necessary. I turned and walked away, forcing myself to breathe, forcing my tears back. My heart felt shattered, but one thought burned brighter than the pain: I wouldn't be a victim forever. And Sophia, she would regret it. I hadn't left my apartment in 3 days. The walls felt like they were closing in, my own thoughts echoing louder than ever. Leo had called twice. The third time, I finally answered. Hey, man, he said, voice cautious. You okay? I'm fine, I lied, though my throat tightened. Just, busy. Busy with what? Bro, you've been a ghost. I said I'm fine, Leo. I hung up before he could argue. The sound of my own heartbeat was deafening in the silence. Later that evening, I got a message from Maya: coffee? I think it's time we talk. I stared at the screen for minutes. Talk? About what? My broken heart. My life crumbling. Still, I typed back, okay. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. The next morning, I met her at a small cafe. Maya had that calm presence that made you feel seen, even before you spoke. Hey, she said, sliding a latte across the table. You look like hell. I laughed bitterly. Thanks. I'm embracing it. No, you're hiding, she said, folding her hands. And I can see it. You've been destroyed, but you can rebuild. Or you can rot here. I don't know if I can, I admitted, staring at my hands. Everything's broken. Maya leaned forward, eyes sharp but kind. Broken isn't the end. Broken is where we start. Tell me, what do you want? I want her back, I said automatically. Then I swallowed. No. I don't know. I want to stop hurting. Maya nodded. Good. That's a start. But stop waiting for someone else to give you life. You take it. Every day. That's the only way you'll get your power back. I wanted to argue, but her words sank in. Maybe she was right. Maybe hiding wasn't helping. Later that day, I ran into Leo at work. He raised an eyebrow at my slouched posture. Cat's alive. Barely. Shut up, I muttered, but there was a faint smile hiding behind my exhaustion. You really screwed yourself over, huh? He asked, more teasing than mean. I didn't screw myself over. She did, I said. But I feel like I did. Every day. Then fix it, he said simply. Do something. Anything. Stop being sad boy hero over there. I stared at him, thinking. Fix it. That word ignited something small inside me. Maybe I could. Over the next few days, I started small. I went for a run, though my legs felt like lead. Come on, You weakling, I muttered to myself, ignoring the stares of early risers. At the office, I stayed later than usual, organizing projects, taking calls I would have avoided before. Leo noticed. "You're back?" he asked, suspicious. "Sort of," I said, trying to sound casual. "Just, focusing." "Focusing on what?" "Me," I admitted quietly. Maya noticed too, at lunch a few days later. "Looking better," she said, nodding at my posture and the faint light in my eyes I thought had been gone forever. "I'm trying," I said, taking a sip of coffee. "But it's hard. Every time I think I'm okay, I see her face. Hear her laugh. It's everywhere." "Good," Maya said sharply. "Don't ignore it. Use it. Every memory, every ache, that's fuel. Turn it into fire. Fire that will rebuild you stronger, smarter, better." Her words burned in my chest. I wanted to argue, but I felt it, the first spark of something fierce, something alive. Leo leaned across the table. "Fire, huh? You planning to torch her world?" "No," I said, eyes narrowing. "Not yet. This is mine. For me. I need me first. She'll, see later. Maybe regret. But this is about survival, Leo. Not revenge. Not yet." "Sounds heavy, bro," he said, smirking. "But okay. I can get behind that. Just, don't explode before you're ready." I smiled faintly. "I won't. I'll be ready. I have to be." That night, I looked in the mirror, really looked. The eyes staring back at me were red, tired, but awake. Determined. I touched my jaw, the faint stubble catching the light. "You can do this," I whispered. I started planning small goals, gym 3 times a week, finishing projects ahead of deadlines, networking with people I'd ignored, reading books that stretched my mind instead of numbing it. And with every small victory, I felt it, my strength returning. It wasn't about Sophia anymore. It wasn't even about Adrian. It was me, reclaiming myself piece by piece. By the end of the week, I caught a glimpse of myself walking down the street, shoulders back, head high. I didn't recognize the man, but I liked him. A little. Maya called that evening. Progress? I think so, I said, smiling. It's slow, but real. Good, she said. Keep going. You're just getting started. I hung up, breathing deeply, feeling a fire grow inside me. Pain still lingered, but it was no longer paralyzing. I was starting to move. Starting to become someone who could survive, and maybe someday, someone who Sophia would wish she never left. I walked into the conference hall, adjusting my tie and straightening my jacket. The hum of conversations washed over me, but this time, I wasn't shrinking into the background. I was here. Present. Ready. Hey, you made it, a voice called. I turned to see Jenna from marketing, smiling brightly. Wouldn't miss it, I said, shaking her hand firmly. You're looking sharp, she said, tilting her head. New haircut? I smiled. Yeah. Thought I'd try something different. Different suits you, she said, and I felt a strange warmth. It wasn't about vanity, it was about control. I was finally in control. Across the room, Elena, one of Sophia's friends, whispered something to a colleague and then glanced toward me. I caught the look. Recognition. Surprise. Maybe even a hint of doubt. Leo nudged me. You see that? She just noticed you. Noticed me? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Yeah, she's watching. Sophia's circle talks, he said with a smirk. I laughed softly, a spark of satisfaction curling in my chest. Good. Let them talk. Later, I joined a group of influencers discussing upcoming projects. I felt the tension in my shoulders ease as I shared ideas, my voice confident. I think combining the digital launch with live events could double engagement, I said, leaning slightly forward. That's a solid strategy, said Priya, a social media strategist. I didn't expect you to come up with that. Why not? I asked, smiling. I've been busy learning a few new tricks. Leo elbowed me subtly. See? You're killing it. The evening passed in a blur of handshakes, introductions, and laughter. Every conversation felt like a small victory. I noticed the way people listened when I spoke, how my confidence had become part of my presence. I was finally stepping into the person I wanted to be. At the bar, I leaned against the counter, sipping a drink when Elena approached. I didn't expect to see you here like this, she said, arching an eyebrow. Like this? I asked, smiling. I'm just evolving, I guess. Evolving, she said, glancing around. Interesting choice of words. I hear Sophia's been asking about you. I felt a flicker of amusement. Oh really? And what exactly does she want? Elena shrugged. Curiosity, I think. You know how it is. People notice change. I nodded slowly, savoring the subtle victory. Good. Let her notice. Later, a small group of colleagues invited me to join a side discussion about a new collaboration. I jumped in, my ideas flowing naturally, unafraid to challenge suggestions or offer alternatives. You have a way of simplifying complex strategies, said Mark, a senior associate. We need more people like you in these sessions. I grinned. Glad I can contribute. Inside, I felt a thrill. This was the version of me I had been working toward, the confident, respected, capable version. Not broken, not timid, not invisible. Then, I spotted her. Sophia, across the room, talking to a few friends. Her eyes flicked to me, just for a second, then away. That glance, it stopped me in my tracks. Leo noticed. There it is. The look. She sees you now. She does, I admitted quietly, my chest tightening in a way I hadn't expected. Not anger. Not pain. Satisfaction. I had worked for this moment. My transformation wasn't about her anymore, but it was about showing myself what I could become. As the night went on, I continued mingling, meeting new people, offering my insights. Every handshake, every compliment, every acknowledgement reinforced what I already knew, I was reclaiming myself. Elena, someone called, and she moved away. I could feel the invisible web of gossip stretching, connecting Sophia to everyone here. And me, at the center, thriving. I took a deep breath, letting it settle. I'm in control, I whispered to myself. I'm the one building my life now. A friend, Priya, laughed nearby. You've got a new energy tonight. Really different. Thanks, I said, smiling genuinely. I've been working on it. Leo leaned in. That's what I'm talking about. You're unstoppable. Unstoppable, I repeated, tasting the word. Maybe not entirely, not yet. But I could feel the momentum. Every event, every conversation, every small connection was a brick in the foundation I was rebuilding. Before leaving, I glanced back at Sophia one last time. She was talking animatedly, laughing, yet her eyes kept darting my way. That look, surprise, maybe regret, made me smirk quietly. Better than I expected, I muttered to Leo. You've earned it, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. I nodded, feeling the satisfaction settle in my bones. It wasn't about revenge. Not tonight. It was about me, finally standing tall, finally seeing what I could be. And the next time Sophia noticed me, it wouldn't just be curiosity. It would be recognition. I spotted her the moment I walked into the gala, Sophia, radiant as ever, her laugh cutting through the music. My chest tightened, but I reminded myself, I wasn't the same man who had watched her walk away. Alex. Over here. Leo waved from across the room. I made my way to him, head held high. You're glowing tonight, he whispered. I've been working on it, I replied, smirking. A group of colleagues approached. Alex, you've really outdone yourself, one said, admiring my tailored suit. Your presentation at the board meeting was phenomenal. I grinned. Thanks. A lot of late nights, but worth it. Sophia's eyes flicked toward me from across the room. I noticed the quick glance, the way her smile faltered. I didn't move, didn't wave, just let her see. Leo elbowed me. She noticed. That's your first win tonight. I nodded, savoring it silently. First of many, I whispered. A young associate, Claire, joined our group. I've been following your work, Alex. Really impressive stuff. Would love to collaborate on the next project. Absolutely, I said, feeling the pride swell inside me. I think we could make something great together. Leo grinned. See? They're noticing you now. The fire you've got. I caught Sophia watching again. Her expression was curious, hesitant. That tiny crack in her facade made my chest tighten, not with longing, but with satisfaction. I had become a force she hadn't anticipated. Adrian appeared near her, a stiff smile plastered on his face. Alex, fancy seeing you here, he said, tone almost too cheerful. Adrian, I replied, nodding smoothly. I see the gala agrees with you. He stiffened. It's fine. Busy evening. I smiled faintly, letting the conversation linger. I hear the new project you're handling is a challenge. Must be keeping you on your toes. He shifted uncomfortably. Yes, it's challenging. I let the moment stretch, enjoying the subtle imbalance. Power didn't have to roar. Sometimes it whispered, and right now, it whispered through my composure. Sophia's gaze returned to me. This time longer. I caught a flicker of doubt, maybe regret, hidden behind her carefully maintained calm. Alex, are you joining us for dinner? Claire asked, pulling me back. Of course, I said. I felt a thrill. Social validation, recognition, it was addictive, but not empty. I had earned it. During dinner, conversation flowed effortlessly. I joked, I listened, I guided discussions without overpowering anyone. Compliments came naturally. I felt my confidence solidifying like concrete. You have a way of making everyone feel included, Priya said, smiling. I try, I replied, laughing softly. Inside, I thought, I'm finally someone people respect. Not invisible. Not broken. Midway through the evening, Sophia approached, subtly. Alex, she said, voice low, careful. I turned slowly. Sophia. She hesitated, glancing at Adrian, then back at me. You look different. Different good or different bad? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Her lips twitched into the faintest smile. Different, confident, I guess. Confident, I repeated, tasting the word. I've been working on it. You've changed, she said quietly. I didn't expect this. That's the idea, I said lightly, letting the comment linger. I could feel her curiosity, the way she measured me, the way she realized I wasn't the same man she left. Adrian appeared, interjecting with a laugh that sounded forced. Sophia, shall we mingle? She hesitated, then nodded. Yes. Let's go. I watched them move away, then leaned closer to Claire. You know, I think this collaboration could really make waves, I said, directing attention to the project. Claire smiled. I knew I made the right choice talking to you tonight. Leo nudged me again. She's still looking, you know. Can't help herself. I let out a quiet laugh, masking the satisfaction with casual charm. Curiosity is natural, I said. Let her see, let her wonder. Not too much. Just enough. Later, during a quieter moment, I caught myself reflecting. Anger still lingered, a thin, sharp thread, but so did satisfaction. I was no longer the man who had crumbled. I had taken control without raising my voice, without pushing. My victories were subtle, quiet, but effective. I thought about revenge, briefly. Not now, not like this. Tonight was about showing strength, mastery over myself. Sophia noticing wasn't my goal, but it was a consequence I didn't mind. You're thinking too much again, Leo said, leaning beside me. Maybe, I admitted, smiling faintly. Or maybe I'm enjoying the view. The view? The view of what's possible, I said, eyes sweeping the room. Of what I've become. And for the first time in months, I believed it. I wasn't defined by heartbreak anymore. I was defined by what I could build, by the presence I commanded, by the confidence I'd earned. And Sophia? Let her watch. Let her wonder. It was mine to enjoy, and mine alone. I spotted her immediately at the rooftop party, Sophia, standing near the edge, laughing with Adrian. My chest tightened, but I didn't move hastily. Calm was my weapon tonight. Observation, patience, control. Leo leaned beside me. She's definitely noticed you. I know, I said quietly. Watch. Sophia's head turned slightly, eyes locking on me for a fraction of a second. A flicker of recognition, maybe curiosity, crossed her face. I didn't approach. I let her wonder. Let her hesitation grow. Adrian noticed my presence next, his smile faltering. Alex, he said, voice strained. I didn't expect you here. Funny, I was thinking the same, I replied smoothly, letting a faint smile linger. Sophia moved closer to him, subtly, but I caught the tension in her posture. She was calculating, trying to gauge my reaction, testing boundaries. Fancy seeing you, she said softly when she finally stepped toward me. Her voice was careful, deliberate. Fancy, I echoed, calm. I hear you've been busy. Yes, things have been complicated, she said, eyes dropping for a moment. I waited, letting the silence stretch. Complicated, I repeated. That's one way to put it. Her lips twitched, a hint of nervousness. I've been thinking. Oh. I asked, eyebrow raised. About what? About us, she said, voice low. Maybe I was wrong. I tilted my head, observing her closely. Wrong about leaving? She faltered. I don't know. I mean, things are different now. I interrupted, calm but firm. Sophia. Stop. Let's not pretend we can go back. That chapter, it's closed. Her eyes widened slightly, panic hidden behind her carefully crafted poise. Closed. Alex. Closed, I repeated. My tone wasn't harsh. It was final. I let her feel the weight of my composure. Let her understand that she couldn't manipulate me with charm or regret anymore. Adrian stepped in, tension radiating off him. Sophia, maybe we should. No, Sophia said sharply, snapping her head toward him. Then her gaze returned to me, unsure, almost desperate. I allowed a faint smirk. Don't mind him. I'm not your concern anymore. Her hands trembled slightly. I thought you'd. Thought I'd what? I asked softly. Cry. Beg? Let you in like before. Her eyes darted down, ashamed. I didn't mean to hurt you like that. Didn't mean to. I whispered, letting the words hang. Sophia, actions speak louder than intentions. I've spent months rebuilding myself while you played games. She flinched, then looked up, desperate. I never wanted to hurt you. Maybe not, I said, voice steady. But you did. And you underestimated me. That's your mistake. Adrian shifted, his facade cracking slightly. Alex, come on, it's not. I'm not listening to him, I said firmly, turning my attention back to Sophia. You see, Sophia, I'm not the man you left behind. Not broken. Not vulnerable. Not yours to control anymore. Her eyes widened, and for the first time, I saw her hesitation falter. The cool confidence she relied on was wavering. I didn't smile. I simply let her feel the shift, the subtle dominance of someone who had mastered himself. She began, voice shaky. Shoo, I said softly. No excuses. No explanations. I'm not here to argue, or to forgive, or to take you back. I'm here to show that I survived. That I grew. That I won't crumble for anyone. Her lips pressed into a thin line. You look strong, she admitted quietly, almost reluctantly. I nodded slowly, savoring the moment. Strong enough to stand on my own. Strong enough to make my own rules. Strong enough to let you see, too late. Adrian's jaw tightened. I could feel his insecurity growing, the first cracks in the man who once seemed untouchable. Sophia began, then stopped, faltering again. I let the silence linger. Let her scramble internally. She realized she had miscalculated. That her attempt to regain control was futile. That she had watched me rise while she underestimated me. You don't have to say anything more, I said gently. Actions speak louder than words. You'll see, in time. Her face shifted, curiosity, regret, confusion. All mixed into a fragile mask of composure. I took a small step back, giving space but keeping my presence commanding. I hope you find what you're looking for. I hope it's real. I hope it's not just an illusion. Her eyes met mine one last time. Vulnerable, uncertain. The facade of independence was cracking. And I didn't need to push. I just existed. Calm, confident, unshaken. As I walked away, Leo by my side, I felt a mix of vindication and lingering sadness. Satisfaction at my control, pride in my growth, but also a faint ache for what could have been. Feeling good? Leo asked. Better than I have in months, I admitted. Stronger. In control. She'll regret underestimating you, he said. I nodded slowly, the truth settling in. She already has. And she's only beginning to realize it. I didn't seek it, but karma has a way of finding people. Sophia's missteps began to appear almost immediately. I overheard snippets at work, in cafes, at events. People talked, subtly at first, then louder, and the truth began to leak. Did you hear about Sophia? Priya asked over lunch. I shook my head, feigning ignorance. No, what happened? She's having a rough time. Adrian cut her off financially. There's gossip too, some of her projects are failing. I sipped my coffee, feeling a strange mix of satisfaction and detachment. That's unfortunate. Leo leaned back in his chair, smirking. Not so unfortunate for us, huh? Feels balanced. Balanced, I repeated softly. Life has a way of correcting itself. That evening, I attended another networking event, running into the usual crowd. Elena whispered Sophia's latest embarrassment to a colleague nearby, clearly relishing the story. I didn't need to react. I let them talk, letting the irony of it settle in. Sophia had thought she could manipulate outcomes. Now, the tables were turning. She was learning consequences without me touching a finger. Leo nudged me. You seeing this? She's unraveling. I nodded quietly. Yes. And I'm watching, without interference. It's not revenge, it's perspective. Later, Maya joined me, her eyes scanning the room before settling on me. You're calm tonight, she observed. I've realized something, I said. I don't need to act to see life balance itself. I just need to stay strong. Keep building myself. That's growth, she said approvingly. You're no longer reactive. You're present. Exactly. I was present. I noticed the way Sophia's smile didn't quite reach her eyes anymore, how her friends murmured behind their hands, how Adrian's charm faltered when she spoke. At the bar, Claire raised her glass. To new projects and opportunities, she said. I clinked my glass against hers. And to learning from mistakes, I added, thinking of Sophia, quietly observing without malice. Leo grinned. Look at you, philosophical now. I smiled faintly. Philosophical. Maybe. But clear-headed. I know my worth. I don't need someone else's approval, or failure, to define me. Across the room, I saw Sophia, trying to catch my eye. There was regret, yes, but also shame. She wanted acknowledgement, some sign I was still affected, still hurt, but I wasn't. Not like before. Adrian approached her hurriedly, clearly frustrated. Sophia, I didn't mean. She waved him off, face tight with tension. It's fine, she said, though her voice trembled. I watched, silent, savoring the subtle lesson, no intervention required. Life has a way of revealing truth on its own. Later, Leo leaned close. You're smiling. Admit it, you like seeing her crumble. I laughed softly. No, Leo. Not like that. I'm satisfied with clarity. I've learned to let go. The lesson is hers. My peace is mine. A new connection approached, a colleague named Daniel, someone whose admiration was genuine. Alex, your leadership and composure tonight, impressive. I'd like to collaborate on more initiatives if you're interested. Absolutely, I said, shaking his hand. I felt pride, but it wasn't about ego anymore. It was about recognition earned through growth, focus, and perseverance. Maya returned to my side. You're navigating this well, she said. You've turned heartbreak into strength, pain into perspective. That's rare. I finally see, I admitted. I've wasted too much time on anger before. Now. I just focus on building, learning, and enjoying what I have. Even Sophia's presence couldn't shake me. I noticed her looking at me, and though a part of me felt the old pang, it was muted, softened by months of self-work. I didn't crave her attention. I simply observed. Later, Leo nudged me again. Hey, someone's waiting to meet you. Looks friendly. I turned to see Claire, smiling. Alex, you free for a brief chat? Of course, I said, following her. Conversation flowed effortlessly, warm and light. There was no tension, no hidden agendas. Just connection. I felt my heart lift in a way it hadn't for months. Maya smiled knowingly. See. There's life beyond the past. People who value you, genuinely. Yes, I said, nodding. And it's better than any revenge. Better than lingering on what was lost. This is mine. This is real. From across the room, I caught Sophia's eyes again. The recognition, the subtle guilt, the understanding of what she'd missed, it was all there. I didn't need to approach. She had learned the lesson in her own way, painfully, naturally. Leo whispered, she's definitely regretting it now. I smiled faintly, letting the satisfaction settle gently. Let her. I've moved on. That's enough. I stepped out onto the balcony, taking a deep breath. The city lights shimmered below, a reminder that life continues, even after heartbreak. I had my clarity, my growth, my people, and the sweet, quiet satisfaction of watching life balance itself without my interference. For the first time in a long time, I felt whole. Free. Strong. I stood by the window, watching the city glow beneath me. The night was quiet, the hum of distant traffic soothing. Months of rebuilding, of learning, of facing myself, it all came together in this moment. Leo nudged my shoulder. "You've changed, man. Totally different energy." "I know," I said softly, letting a small smile escape. "I feel different. Stronger. Lighter, somehow." "Stronger, huh?" he said, teasing, but there was admiration in his tone. "Sophia would barely recognize you now." I chuckled, shaking my head. "I don't care anymore. That chapter's closed. I've built my life on my terms, not hers." Maya joined us, her presence calm, grounding. "I see it in you," she said. "You've transformed, not just outwardly, but inside. You're at peace with yourself, and that makes all the difference." "I never thought I'd feel this way," I admitted. "After everything, the betrayal, the heartbreak, I thought I'd always carry it. But I've learned to let go. To focus on myself, my growth, my future." Leo grinned. "You're practically glowing. Confident, calm, untouchable." "Untouchable," I repeated, tasting the word. "I like it." We shared a quiet laugh, the kind that comes from shared understanding. I thought about Sophia, her regret, her missed opportunities, the cracks in the life she had built on illusion. I felt no satisfaction in her pain, only clarity. She had made her choices. I had made mine. Maya leaned closer. "And what about love, Alex? You've changed, but are you closed off completely?" I shook my head. "No. I'm open, but wiser. I've learned to value myself first. Anyone who enters my life now, it has to be genuine, mutual." Leo smirked. "So, someone like Claire, maybe?" I smiled faintly, thinking of her warm laugh, her admiration that had nothing to do with wealth or status. "Maybe," I said softly. "Time will tell. Right now, I'm focused on building the life I want." Maya nodded approvingly. "That's the right approach. Self-respect is the foundation. Everything else follows." I leaned back, reflecting on the journey, the nights of tears, the moments of anger, the small victories that had slowly rebuilt me. I realized that growth wasn't about revenge or proving someone wrong. It was about proving to myself that I could rise, stronger and wiser than before. Leo chuckled. "You know, if Sophia sees you like this now, she's going to regret it for a long time." "I know," I said, calm. "And that's her lesson, not mine. My satisfaction comes from my peace, not from her remorse." Maya's eyes met mine. "And that's the hardest, and most rewarding, part. True closure comes from within." I nodded slowly. "I get it now. I've stopped waiting for apologies, for recognition, for validation from the wrong people. I've claimed it for myself." The city lights reflected off the glass, a reminder of all the possibilities still ahead. I felt the weight of past heartbreak lift, replaced by quiet confidence. The anger had faded, leaving only lessons learned and a deeper understanding of myself. Leo raised his glass. "To Alex. To growth, strength, and finally, freedom." I clinked my glass against his. "To freedom," I said softly. We stood in companionable silence for a moment, letting the words settle. I thought about the person I had been when Sophia betrayed me, the insecure, naive, vulnerable man. And then I thought about who I had become, composed, confident, and fully aware of my worth. Maya smiled. "You've come a long way. Be proud." I admitted, the truth settling in my chest. Proud, and ready. Ready for whatever comes next. No fear. No hesitation. Just, life, fully embraced. Leo nudged me again. And you look amazing doing it. Seriously. I laughed quietly. It's more than looks, Leo. It's the mindset. The control over my own life. That's what matters. As the night stretched on, I thought of Sophia one last time. The regret, the loss, the realization of what she had thrown away, it was not my burden. I let it drift past me, part of the life I had left behind, a mirror reflecting my growth. I took a deep breath, letting it fill me. Calm, strong, and finally at peace. The journey from heartbreak to empowerment was complete. I had learned, I had grown, and I had claimed my life back. And for the first time in months, I smiled fully, freely. The future awaited, open and bright, and I was ready.